Hello everybody, I'm Josh Bean from AL.com. I'm here with Jeff Sentell. We're here to talk about the 2014 AHSAA playoffs. Jeff, we've had some surprise teams. Teams that we expected to win are still alive. Hoover, Madison Academy, Spanish Fort. Well, we've also had some pretty big surprises. When you look at the state as a whole, what's the one that jumps out to you the most?
Well, I scan the brackets and you see 2 7-5 teams in 1A. That's crazy. Maybe the surprise of the bracket is you have a BC Rain team that's 6-6. I mean, that's pretty high cotton there, Josh. When you got 6 losses and you're still playing in the third round.
Won 4 games in the regular season. Slipped into the playoffs. Still playing. They'll play number 1 St. Paul's this week.
Man, BC Rain. Maybe you looked at the brackets and said the way we get to the third round is we come in at that 4 seed. So congratulations to you. But really, that's just a great achievement. Maybe they got some young players there that have really stepped into their roles, and that's a story that I want to talk about. Maybe with my surprise team right now, and that's Pleasant Grove. I mean, the Grove and Jim Elgin's boys, man, we looked at them and the way they finished last season and thought, that's a contender. They start out number 2 in Class 5A, and then they find out that maybe their young puppies on defense aren't that good, and they lose like 2 games in a row, and then all of a sudden they have to get better. They have to fire some people, change some hands on deck around there, and lo and behold, they've won 9 in a row. That's a program record. And then they're in the third round. This is the first time they've been in the third round since 2004. And I think they're going to get the win this week. I think they'll move on, and I think they'll get past into the third round.
Okay, so you picked Pleasant Grove. Maybe a team that nobody saw getting this far. Big boy football in Alabama is Gardendale. You saw them last week. They knocked off Homewood, another team that had won 9 in a row. What do you make of this Gardendale squad?
Well, first thing I thought was, how in the world did this team lose 4 games? Because but then you scan it, you study it. Hewitt-Trussville was the first game, and they led Hewitt by like 24 points at halftime. Hewitt came on, and then they lost to Minor, but then you learned that when they lost to Minor, their starting quarterback was suspended for a team rules violation that whole game, and I think they only lost that game like 50-43. And they lost to Clay Chalkville. Well, Clay Chalkville's pretty good, and that was a 3-4 quarter game as well, and Gardendale had a chance. And now you look at them and you see, wow, quarterbacks, pretty good. Playmaking wide receiver, pretty good. They got 2 guys that they can throw at running back, pretty good. Great defensive line. They got maybe one of the best linebacking corps in Birmingham now, with a lot of sophomores around, and 1 senior in Justin Fillmore. And I don't know, I'm not going to go out on the limb and say they're going to beat Florence this week. Heck, I didn't think they would beat Homewood last week. But I think that Gardendale team I saw last week can really put a scare into the Falcons this week.
Now we're down to the Final 4 in 7A, and 2 of the teams remaining. At the beginning of the year, we didn't think these 2 teams would be there. Foley and Prattville are still playing. What do you make of this matchup? Prattville will have to go all the way to Foley, 3rd straight road playoff game for the Lions. What do you make of these 2 teams? A little bit of a surprise.
Josh, I love it when these teams, we sit here and we think about what we know and what we don't know, and here's what we really know. But sometimes we really don't know. And I guess me and you could have done a video at the beginning of the season thinking, well, Prattville's gone. That dynasty is past. That's an error. Close the book on Prattville. Well, now open it back up. Chad Anderson's there. It's like his 2nd season, 3rd season there. And the other thing I think about, Josh, is Foley lost 3 region games. They lost 1 to a McGill-Tulane team that didn't even make the playoffs. They lost to Fairhope, but then they get Fairhope last week. And it's like, that shows how teams can just get better and better. But then you got Prattville, who lost 2 region games. Very odd that we see a semifinal in the state's largest classification where one side's lost 3 and one side's lost 2.
I'll tell you what I really like about this Foley team. When you get to this part of the year, you need to be able to run it. You need to be able to control the clock. You need to not turn it over. And those are things that Foley's done really well this year. They have a veteran quarterback in Tyler Cameron who's played a lot of football. They got a big bruising running back. If they don't turn it over, if they don't put it on the ground, I think this is a hard team to beat. They're playing at home at Ivan Jones Stadium. That's a long trip for Prattville. I think this will be one of the most fascinating games we'll see all weekend. There's a bunch of surprise teams. You mentioned the 1A teams. We got teams like Decatur still playing, and Gardendale, and Pleasant Grove, and Colbert County, Foley. This should be really exciting to see this week. I can't wait to see what happens. You can follow all of our coverage at AL.com or AL.com/highschool. Thanks for watching.